Can you bounce it higher than a rubber ball? Can it stretch like taffy? Can it be shaped like animals and things? Can it pick up secret messages like this? No, I'm not talking about silly putty, I am talking about the insides of all sorts of movie monsters. Ooey, gooey, nasty stuff that bubbles out by moonlight as one thing turns into another. Fascinating and repulsive, it's what everybody wants in a good body horror. You guessed it, we're back for more transformation permutations. Hello horror heads and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host Keegan Hughes, and today we've got the latest and greatest edition of our somewhat long running series, Top 5 Most Disturbing Horror Movie Monster Transformations, Part 3. So tie yourself to the hospital bed and have your friends and family watch the door because things are about to get raunchy. Before we get going, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more shape-shifting silliness. Wicked. Let's get started. Clawing its way in at number 5, we have The Beast Within. I would be remiss if I didn't kick this video off with a werewolf flick from the early 80s. First, The Howling, then American Werewolf in London, so today we're focusing on 1982's The Beast Within. This werewolf transformation is a little different than the other two though. First, there's no telescoping snout, which admittedly is a little disappointing, but points for originality. They're not just gonna follow that trend, they're gonna do their own thing. Second, the werewolf wasn't caused by a random attack manifesting at the next full moon. Nope. This is a werewolf transformation by birthright. Michael was conceived as the result of a werewolf assault. His dad isn't his dad, if you know what I mean. So by the time he turns 17, weird stuff starts happening. Of course, there's some transformation in eating people without remembering too much. Soon enough, we learn that it's likely that he's being possessed by his werewolf progenitor. The first good look at the transformation process comes at the hospital. Michael, strapped to a hospital bed, breaks out in a cold sweat and starts to breathe heavily. His face sags and all of a sudden his gigantic tongue protrudes and starts wagging about. I'd be lying if I didn't say it reminded me of Shakira's latest Super Bowl performance, but we'll forget about that for a moment. Then we're treated to some classic throbbing pustules in the face. Can't be a werewolf movie without them. Big veiny forehead ridges appear and awful jagged teeth replace his regular ones. Soon he's yowling at the top of his lungs and spitting phlegm, and then his back splits open. Everything is so greasy looking. It's beautiful. The best part is when his head inflates to 5 times its normal size, giving us either Hey Arnold or Stewie Griffin vibes way ahead of their time. His head then deflates, giving his noggin a distinctly zombie-like look. Beautifully done, everyone. Now gun that thing down ASAP. Sliding in at number 4, Ginger Snaps.
Done anything? I don't like how he looks at you.
We'll keep this werewolf ride going with a Canadian classic, filmed largely in Brampton. Imagine that. Ginger Snaps is the story of 2 sisters who, until puberty hit, were inseparable. Did I say puberty or werewolf attack? Same difference. Ginger and Bridget are wandering the woods one night and get attacked by an unknown beast. Ginger gets the worst of it, but her wounds heal pretty quickly. Mysteriously quickly if you ask me. Then the transformation begins. Aggressive behavior, unexpected hair growth, heavy menstruation, the works. Are we sure we're not just talking about puberty? Oh wait, never mind, she grows a tail, so definitely a werewolf transformation. Then, and this is pulled straight from the Wikipedia because it's just too perfect to change, ignoring Bridget's warnings, Ginger has unprotected sex with a classmate named Jason, furiously beats Trina in public, and kills a neighbor's dog. Just how I remember the movie. It just seems so blunt when you put it this way. Ginger keeps on killing as a werewolf as Bridget desperately looks for a cure. The full wolf change happens after a dangerously fun greenhouse party and Ginger goes on a rampage. The climax results in one of the most tragic stories of werewolf sisterhood ever put to screen. Hold your loved ones close, folks, especially if you suspect that they're werewolves. Scraping its way in at number 3, we've got Army of Darkness. The Deadites just have such a way with mayhem, don't they? The most insane procession of events leads to the final transformation here. First, Ash busts a mirror, from which all sorts of tiny ashes spring forth. These mini maniacs cause him all sorts of trouble, but don't worry, he takes care of them. Big man strong, little man weak. He eats the last of himself and then washes him down with boiling water. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Unfortunately, this leads to a big ol' nasty eyeball sprouting on his shoulder. Looks like something else, but I'm not gonna say it out loud. After a quick howl at the moon, Ash finds a second, eviler Ash protruding from his shoulder. A Siamese fight ensues until they split like an amoeba. Then a regular fight begins with evil Ash taking the upper hand. Thankfully, our resourceful hero managed to snag his boomstick beforehand and blows him away. His other self, I mean. Himself? You would think that's the end of it, right? Well, the transformation matures even more during the castle siege, as evil Ash shows up resurrected and more ogre-like than ever. This zombified general takes the fight to Ash and ends up being lit ablaze by a torch and kicked off the parapet. But wait, there's more. In a stunning twist of fate, he returns once again, and this time as a bare-bones skeleton with glassy, red human eyes. The ultimate transformation, no more flesh to hold him back. He should have the upper hand now with enough power and battle experience to take down our poor mortal hero. But then he's launched from a trebuchet and explodes. From a tiny person, to a Siamese sprout, to a skeleton, to ashes, dust to dust. That's how you do character development. Coming in at number 2, Society.
Dr. Cleveland, it looks as though I may have an opening in Washington next summer. Know what I mean?
What is this, Brian Yuzna's third appearance in the series? Good on you, dude. To set Society apart from his Lovecraftian adaptations, Yuzna brought on Japanese special effects whiz Screaming Mad George. Mad George is famous for many other legendary transformations, including the infamous cockroach scene from Nightmare on Elm Street 4. They went through the original script, which features a bloodthirsty cult as opposed to what we get in the actual movie, and they said, nah, we can go nuttier than this. And so they did. Society follows young Bill, a well-off teen with a sneaking suspicion about his upper crust family. He thinks they're involved in some shady business, which is a well-founded suspicion while dealing with any rich person. For most of the movie, Bill runs around being paranoid. Every once in a while he stumbles upon a little taste of what's really happening behind the curtain, but is never able to throw it wide open. His idea is that his family is involved in cultish activities and murderous orgies like the original script intended. What Bill finds though is, well, it's not that. Turns out they're all members of a different alien race, and they love to shunt. Yikes. We are treated to a big gooey blob of alien orgy. It's how they feed. They all morph together and turn people into mulch before absorbing them. He's getting pliable, Your Honor. All sorts of bodies squishing together and dripping with goo. So much goo. Apparently the bit where somebody's pulled inside out was so freaky that even Mad George didn't like going near it. After narrowly escaping the massive shunt, Bill runs into his family having a more intimate, personal shunt. Family shunt. Mother, sister, butthead father, goodness me. And lastly at number 1, Brain Dead or Dead Alive, depending on how you like to say it. Peter Jackson knows his large-scale special effects, and Brain Dead has lots of transformations. People turning into zombies. Zombie Lovin' turning into a zombie baby. Lionel turning into a not gigantic wuss. So many transformations. But the best one has to be Lionel's mother. She undergoes too many changes to count. From a horrible shrew, to a sickly old woman, to a full-on zombie, to a purported corpse, to a classic dirt-displacing crawler, to a basement-dwelling senior citizen, to a massive fleshy abomination. She has range, folks. Range! The final battle atop the roof shows her off in full terrifying glory. It's quite upsetting to look at and also pretty funny. Post lawnmower mowdown, she bursts up through the floor, no longer a frail old woman. Nope. Now she is a big, weird, lizardy thing with grotesque lady parts. Some big old floppy cheeks too, and I'm not talking about the flesh sliding from her face. She's got the power to punch through walls like Bristol board and the motherly instincts of Norma Bates on bath salts. Her stomach splits open, welcoming her child back into the womb. And then she splits open again, falling through the roof, leaving Lionel to escape with his paramour. Her final transformation involved learning that if you love something, you need to let it go. Or maybe it's just that Lionel literally cut his way out of her. Either way. Damn, those are some gruesome transformations. A little squirming in your seat never hurt anyone though. What do you think? Any additions you would make to the list? Which of these is your favorite? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more viscous ones from the top 5 most haunted places in Louisiana. Liesel Zenner says, as a Louisiana native, I approve this video. It's always good to get that stamp of approval. Looks good on the all resume. Rick C says, now I need a po' boy. Don't we all? Excuse me as I go watch Homer eat his way through New Orleans for the 100th time. RJ Ellert says, I visited the St. Louis Cemetery last year. A freaking cool place to visit, at least in the daytime. If nothing else, you get to see the pyramid Nicolas Cage made for his final resting place, which was struck by lightning somehow. Hold on. Nick Cage has a death pyramid? Why is this the first time hearing of it? Add this to my bucket list. Gabriel Frontenau says, I live in central Louisiana and have been to a few of these places like Myrtles, but no offense, it's commonly pronounced Marie. Thank you for the gentle correction. I should have known better considering all the French inflected pronunciations in Louisiana. And Hi at Last says, Keegan, why are you wearing your beanie up above your ears all high like that? It's causing me severe distress. I'm just staying hip with the kids, you know? Come on, man, don't worry about how I'm dressed. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Clawing its way, no, I already made that joke. Oh my god, I gotta go back to bed. Scratching, scratching, scraping in at number 3. He eats the last of them himself. Nope, beep, 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 beep. Crafty and abdat. He says, ooh. That's what he says.